Hello, everybody. Welcome to, I guess, a special episode, if you want to call these episodes, video, whatever you want to call it. This is a thank you. I was down visiting my buddy Tommy over at Tommy's Musical Adventures, who I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And we started a live stream on his channel to try to get me to 1,000 subscribers. At that point, Saturday night, I was at 991, and we had this big plan of getting to 1,000. And I didn't pick up a single subscriber uh, during that time. But it was an hour spent with Tommy, and some of my friends were in the chat talking and carrying on. So that was a good time. Well, lo and behold, the next morning, so this would be Sunday. I'm recording this on Monday, the 11th. This would be Sunday, the 10th. Uh, Over about an hour period, I picked up 14 or so subscribers to put me over the 1,000 mark. Thanks in large part to some of my buddies. Again, I'll get to them in a minute. And Rachel over at Rachel's Ghost, she did a live stream and was pushing her audience to come support my channel. So she helped me get those last 9, and then a few more have trickled in since then. And so now I am over 1,000. Now, this doesn't, necessarily mean anything in terms of, the YouTube world. It's just one of those big milestones. The first big one is 100. After you've hit that 50 mark, and then you get from 100 to 50, and then 500, and then really after 500, every 100 is great after that. And I was pushing all the time during that time. Give me to 600, 700, 800. I did a contest or two. But the 1,000 is just a different level of milestone, in my opinion. I started this channel almost to the day 3 years ago. This aspect of my channel, I always say that because I did have a YouTube channel. I didn't put regular content on it. I would occasionally put some guitar songs, especially during COVID. I was doing a lot of songs almost daily at some point, just doing me and my guitar in my dark basement at my parents' house when I was still living there. And then in late December of 2020, I was watching my buddy Matthew Street on a live stream, and I kind of chimed in and I was like, Matt, I'm kind of toying with the idea of starting a YouTube channel like yours. Give me some pointers. Should I do it? And he was, immediately saying, do it, Sam. You absolutely should do it. I was watching Matt probably about 2017 or so. I don't even know if Matt had 1,000 subscribers yet when I was watching his videos. And I love Matt. He did some great stuff. Obviously, he's a big Beatles guy. And I was watching him. We had a connection over the Monkees early on. I come to find out he likes Bob Dylan too, but he also likes just great rock and roll music. And Matthew Street is the one that kind of put me over the edge to start this channel. So I always will be forever grateful for Matt. And thankfully, over the last year, just this last year, we finally got to meet virtually. We've done a couple of videos together, and it's just been a joy to get to know Matt. So really, Matt was the first person that I connected with in the YouTube world. I was watching other live streams. I was watching Joe Mayo's live stream, talking to him in the comments. But that was really it. It was Matt and Joe were early, and then not too far after that, I started watching this guy named Tommy over at Tommy's Musical Adventures. He was an early one for me to start watching, and Tommy was really big in Bob Dylan, really big in the Monkees. And at that point, I was really getting into the Monkees' Good Times album that came out in 2016. And I found, Tommy was talking about the Monkees, and then I see that he's really big into the solo career of one of the Monkees, which, I didn't know existed even 3 years ago, because I was not a diehard Monkees fan. And Tommy is telling all these great stories about his idol, Michael Nesmith, who, of course, was in the Monkees, but also had a very extensive solo career. And Tommy had these great stories, and showing albums and autographs and pictures. And it was really, really cool to see that. And Tommy was always responding to comments. And, you know, um, flash forward, a couple years later, 2021, I'm driving down to Tommy's place, and then I meet him, and we drive from his house, the first time meeting in person, to then go to Tennessee, to Knoxville, to see Michael Nesmith and Mickey Dolenz perform what would be their last tour, about a month before Nesmith died. And I got to see it with the guy that got me into Michael Nesmith. That's just really cool. I know Tommy appreciates that evening as well. I'll speak for him. And, ever since then, I've been to Tommy's house 2 or 3 times, well, about 3 times, I'd say, after that. So 4 times to Tommy's. We've met up kind of at a halfway point for us to do a record crawl. We met up with guys like Beatle Brad, another name that's in the Beatles YouTube world. We got to meet him. Well, I got to meet him for the first time last May at a Paul McCartney concert, ironically. Just briefly met him and his wife. And then, a few months later, a few months later, almost a year later, we are hanging out with Brad and doing a record crawl with him, which was just really cool. So, I'm making all these connections. And that's this thing that this crazy YouTube community is the connections that you make. Because again, when I started the channel, I was very timid. I was very camera shy. I didn't think I knew enough about music. I definitely didn't have a vinyl collection. I mean, I had 15, 20 records maybe, and some CDs. I had a lot of knowledge, I would say, but compared to other guys I was watching, like Matt and Joe, Beatle Brad, like I didn't, or Tommy, I didn't think that I had that kind of knowledge to throw my 2 cents in the ring. I didn't have an angle that I was going for, because I love Tom Petty, Bob Dylan, John Prine, the Beatles, and I was like, I'm not going to talk about the Beatles because Matt and all those guys do it so well. I was like, what am I going to talk about? So I just kind of started, talking about my musical journey, like a lot of people do. I did a few album reviews, some, just random albums in my collection, just trying to get my ball rolling. Matt, really promoted me on his channel to get me to like that first 100 subscribers, which felt like it took an eternity. But yeah, I just wanted to, thank everybody that has been watching the last 3 years now. I didn't want to do a contest to get to 1,000. I might do something, as a celebration for this. I haven't decided yet. Right now, it's not likely, because again, I've just wanted to see what I could do to get to 1,000 organically without any kind of contest. But I did want to mention some people specifically. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have supported me over the 3 years, and I feel like this is like an Oscar speech. It's not. And this is, very, it's serious kind of video. Just, there's some great guys out there. Actually, I'm writing one down now. Actually, he'll be happy to know I'm writing down Gary's name from Physical Format Rock and Roll. I keep thinking of names. I've got, this list of names that I want to read off, and highlight a few specifically. So let me just go with some, some people that are great commenters, and people that I've done some, I've met, but virtually. And then after that, I'm going to go into kind of like a core group of guys that I really am close with and really consider good friends. Not that these other people aren't friends, but it's a little bit different. I haven't had as many interactions, but let's see. JC over at the Flip Side, he's been a great supporter. He's done some contests. I've collaborated with him on a couple of different videos. I love JC. He's an awesome guy. Jeff Witcher, who has sent me some fantastic gifts, a couple of really nice packages. I think earlier this year, some Elvis records were in there. Allman Brothers were in there. Just really, really good stuff. He's a hilarious guy. He's done some videos parodying my accent, which is hilarious. I love it. Again, I mentioned Rachel at Rachel's Ghost, Jason over at Jason the Old Millennial, Robert over at Robscure Music. He's been a great supporter of me. I like to think that I had a small part in helping him, start his channel. I'm not going to take any credit for it, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the individual. But Robert's such a nice guy. Robert S. He's sent me so many things, but not just that, but whenever I do a live stream where I'm playing music, Robert is almost always there. We connect quite a bit on a lot of music, but specifically the Avett Brothers, who one of my favorite groups. Just absolutely love the Avett Brothers. Love Robert S. Just a wonderful, wonderful guy. And again, I've mentioned a lot of these people already in the video, but Aaron Mutha Alamayer is another one. Again, I've done a couple of videos with him. I haven't done enough. I always want to do enough. I know he has some internet problems sometimes at his house, but Aaron's just, again, a great supporter. Aaron and I don't hardly like any of the same types of music. I mean, he loves the Beatles, but his fan base is mostly around, hair metal, the harder rock stuff, that, stoner rock that I'm not really into. But again, like I always say when I talk about Aaron, he is somebody I watch because of his personality, and he does, kind of make me interested in some things. He sent me a couple of Alice in Chains CDs. So Aaron's just a really great guy, just a really, really nice guy. Rod, the Happy Hippie, Rod sent me some of my earliest, VCLT, Vinyl Community Love Train, which is when we send each other gifts, music-related gifts. Rod sent me a Clutch album. I think he had a spare a couple of years ago, and Rod's just been a great supporter ever since, and just a really, really nice guy. He's, and he's in a state over from me, so Rod, you're awesome. Again, I mentioned Gary from Physical Format Rock and Roll. He's just a hilarious guy out there in Ohio. I would love to meet up with Gary. One of these days I'm going to, because I'm definitely going to want to go out to Cleveland at some point and see the Hall of Fame. I want to meet up with Gary, maybe see a show, something like that, hit up a brewery or something in his neck of the woods. That would be awesome. So, again, I've done collaborations with Gary. He's just one of the best guys. Harry over at Harry's Music Room. The reason I bring up Harry, I haven't hardly ever, I think I've met Harry once on one live stream, but Harry, before he even knew much about my channel, he knew that I liked the Monkees, and he sent me just a beautiful signed record that was signed by Mickey Dolenz, Peter Tork, and Davy Jones that I have hanging in my living room next door here. And Harry's just been a great guy, just a really nice guy out there in the Pacific Northwest. Again, I mentioned Jason, the old millennial. Adam over at What the Gym, younger guy over in the UK, who has sent me some things. I sent him some things that I think he's going to talk about here in a bit. But beyond that, Adam's just a really genuine guy. I've had a few Zoom calls with him off camera just to talk and catch up. I've met his family. It's lovely family. Just a really good guy. He's really getting into a lot of music for the first time, so it's neat to see what he gets into as he matures in his musical taste. So Adam's a great guy. Chris Proofy, I've talked about some of the other guys that I've done collaborations with. Chris Proofy, I've done a few with. He's a fellow Monkees guy, but Chris is also a guitar player like myself. He plays some gigs, and Chris also kind of leans a little bit on the heavier side, even though he likes a lot of music. He runs the gamut. But when he plays his guitar, he kind of follows the same kind of style that I do. He loves his Johnny Cash. He loves Gordon Lightfoot. He loves the songwriters, Glenn Campbell, stuff like that. So Chris is a great guy up in New York. Again, another guy that I'd love to hang out with, go record shopping, and maybe bust out the axe with Chris. I mentioned Jeff Witcher, a great guy. Robert's on my turntable up in Canada. I collaborated with Robert a lot in my early days of getting on live streams. Robert's just a really nice guy. We message a lot on social media. He's just very supportive. Again, he's kind of he likes a little bit more like the proggier stuff, like Gentle Giant. Deep Purple is one of his favorite groups, and heavier stuff. April Wine. But again, he's got Beatles, posters hanging behind him. So, we all have those threads that we all connect each other with. So Robert, you're a great guy. I'm happy to call you a friend. And Robert has sent me some nice gifts too, which is incredible because of the exchange rate over the U.S.-Canadian border is just unbelievable. So the fact that he sent me a big old stack of CDs, probably about a year ago, it means a lot. Let's see. A couple of guys that I'm going to put here's one. Music Talk with John down in Florida. I've recently gotten to know John probably in the last 5 or 6 months. I've jumped on a couple of his live streams. He's been on a few of mine. Really funny guy, nice guy. again, he's runs the gamut too. Billy Joel is his main dude, but he likes all sorts of stuff. He loves Elton John. Um, he loves some garage rock and a lot of jazz, cool jazz. He's really into like the Benmont Tench album, the solo album from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So I have that connection with John. He's a great guy. Again, somebody when I go back down to Florida, whenever I'm gonna definitely hit up John. I'm gonna go with his name is Sean, but I'm gonna go with his name is Doc. His nickname is Doc. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he is part of the group of guys that I'm gonna now kind of focus in on. This last bunch of guys are guys that I really have a personal connection with, and we're kind of like a core group of guys. Even though some of these guys aren't in the same circles, but for me, like in my grand circle, these are all guys that kind of I put into the same pot. So I'm gonna go with Doc again, another Canuck up in the north. Doc's a great guy. Again, we're friends on social media. We talk back and forth here and there. I've done the Authentic Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Doc, and he's just a really, really nice guy, really funny guy. You can pick on him, and he can kind of give it to you back, which is the kind of person that I like. And a lot of these people are. Gary is like that. Jeff Witcher's like that. So, Doc is a great guy. Brian Massey over at Massey's Main Entertainment. Again, he's also in our Hall of Fame group. I've done a collaboration with him on his channel where we talked about Pink Floyd. He's up in Maine, but he's born in Virginia. Way back when, and so we had that connection, the Virginia roots. So Brian's a great guy. I'm hoping to collaborate with him again really, really soon. Again, somebody else that I consider a friend offline as well. Jason Arsenault. Jason is somebody who I started talking to recently. Again, one of the most supportive guys ever. He's, again, another Canadian. I'm friends with a lot of Canadians, but he's over on the West Coast. But he just recently started his channel, probably about 3 months ago. Jason, we need you to put out some more videos, my friend. But he's a hilarious dude. I'm in some group chats with Jason, and just a really, really funny guy. Again, super supportive. He always watches my song covers on my YouTube page, my originals, and that really means a lot. So Jason, you're awesome, man. Alex over at Beer and Vinyl. Alex was just recently at my apartment. And again, was one of the few people that I've actually met in person. Again, a newbie to YouTube just the last couple of months, but he's been a commenter for a long time. Again, he's in a few group chats with me. Funny guy. We hung out here at my apartment. We went out to eat, went to a record show. We had a full couple of days together, which was really, really fun. Again, he's also up there in Ohio, but he travels all over. So hopefully, we'll see each other sooner rather than later in the new year. That would be awesome. Alex is just a great, great guy. Again, a huge musical taste. Randall Nelson, Randy is the first guy that I met in person. This was back in 2021, I believe. He came down here. He was doing like a grand loop of the country. He had done a film festival. He was visiting some family up in DC and made his way down south into Virginia. We met up for just a meal. Didn't get to do a video, but it was great meeting Randy. Randy, again, has such a wide array of knowledge. He focuses a lot on blues and doo-wop and 50s and early 60s and all sorts of things like that. But he's a Van Morrison guy like I am. Astro Weeks is his favorite album, and that again makes Randy cool to me. He's also part of the Hall of Fame group that we talk a little bit, just have a good time. Randy's out there in Kansas City, so again, hopefully one day I'll make it out west and save Randy some travel time. Rob over at Northern Revolutions. Rob is part of a live stream that I'm on for Wednesday nights, again with Alex and Jason and Rob. There's another guy, I'm going to talk about him in a minute. But Rob is a nice guy up in Canada. Again, another Canadian. Rob really, talks about the Canadian content, but we have a connection with Gordon Lightfoot. I know Gordo is a big deal to Rob. He's a big deal to me because he was my first concert. And yeah, so we message from time to time off camera, and it's always good to catch up with Rob weekly. So he's kind of become part of my routine throughout the week. So that one's for Rob. Larry Graves. Larry has really helped a lot with my channel growth. Very, very kind. Again, Canadian. Uh, has let me come on his channel many, many times on live streams. We've done collaborations together. He's been on other channels that I've been on at the same time. Again, we message back and forth off camera. Larry sent me quite a few things. We've done a little. I bought some of his CDs that he was purging from his collection, and just a really, really nice guy. He comes across as funny and kind of jokey, but really that's not fully Larry. He's just a really, really nice guy. He wants to help out smaller channels. He doesn't do it to boost his ego or anything like that. He just wants to help people, and we've become friends. Again, he's right up there with those other guys where I'd love to meet Larry and shake his hand in person, which would be awesome. So Larry, thank you so much for everything. Again, I mentioned my buddy Rob and Alex and Jason. These are all guys that are part of a live stream that I do, hosted by the wonderful Glenn Kellaway from the basement, Canadian. Glenn has been in my apartment about 3 times. We have formed a musical duo called the Cosmic Torpedoes, where we play roots music, bluegrass, just kind of on the fly, because we don't have time to practice. Glenn has family in Orlando in Florida, so he's made the pit stop here as like the halfway point, and it's just been so cool to get to know him. We started back, I would say 2021, maybe 2021. Yeah, we did some Bob Dylan related videos, and I never would have thought in a lifetime that I'd ever meet Glenn, just because of how far we are with miles. But sure enough, we've met several times. We've done many, 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 many collaborations together. Again, weekly on his channel, live streams. We had a thing called the Sam and Glenn Show, which we're gonna, I think, bring back a special episode of that soon, so stay tuned for that. He's brought me some wonderful gifts. I've got a Canadian flag hanging in my apartment because of Glenn. I've given him some Virginia related items for his music room, which he's proudly shown on some of his room tours. And I think Glenn is wonderful. Again, it's one of those things where Glenn is 70. He'll tell you that he's 70. I'm 29. So, there's 41 years between us in years, but, our musical tastes are, he loves bluegrass. He loves roots. He loves, people like Tony Rice and, Bob Dylan, Gordon Lightfoot, obviously the Beatles, Van Morrison. We just kind of flow right there at the same acoustic, type of music. And it's just been really, really cool to kind of build that friendship. And again, just a wonderful, wonderful guy. I can't say enough about Glenn. He's helped me so much. Glenn, you're the man. A couple more here, and then I'll kind of jump off here. And again, I apologize to anybody that I've missed. I'm going to jump to my buddy Steve over at All the World's a Stage. Steve sent me the very first gift I ever received from a YouTuber. He sent me an album by Argent because he knew that I love the Zombies, and he said you should listen to some Argent. So he sent me an Argent record, and since then, Steve, again, I don't just like Steve because he sends me a lot of stuff. It helps, but Steve has done so much for a lot of people. He's sent me I feel like I get a package from Steve, and then like 2 or 3 weeks later, he said, "Hey, I'm sending you this. I heard you mention you don't have this album. I'm going to send it to you." He's made me a Tom Petty related T-shirt. He made me stickers based on my logo that you see on my channel that I've been handing out at gigs that I play live. He sent me a bunch of movies that he was purging from his collection. And Steve is one of those guys, he doesn't care if you make a video about what you get from him or not. He just wants you to have them and wants you to enjoy them. He just sent me a Nick Lowe box set. So I mean, he's constantly thinking about stuff. He sent me a mug, and again, he's one of those guys where you think you're the one getting all of the attention from him, but in reality, there are 20 other people that have received the same kind of treatment. It's unbelievable how he does that so effortlessly. So Steve, you're awesome. And check out Steve's. Steve did a video where he talks about our relationship a little bit more in depth. It's on my community page, so check that out. It's hilarious. But just a couple more here. I'm gonna go to my buddy Tommy Burton, uh, who I mentioned earlier from Tommy's Musical Adventures. Again, probably the first person, maybe, well, no, maybe, well, he's definitely the only person who I've actually stayed at his house, who I've actually, been to his record room and hung out a lot. Tommy and I talk on the phone 2 or 3 times a week at length a lot of times. Actually, when I went to go see Bob Dylan in Richmond, um, we talked the whole way home because I was falling asleep and Tommy was like reorganizing his record room, and so we talked for almost 3 hours on the phone. It was incredible. But Tommy's just a really down to earth guy. He's sent me a couple of things, but we've done some videos together. We've gone record crawling together. We've gone out to eat together. Again, we talk on the phone all the time. We text all the time. We're in a group chat with a couple other guys that are on YouTube. A couple of Tommy's friends. Named Ross and Sean. Hey, Sean. And hey, Ross. Tommy's just, again, he's just a wonderful guy. Again, he got me into Nez. We saw the Monkees together. Well, Mike and Mickey. And yeah, just a really, really good guy. I'm proud to call Tommy a really good friend because we see each other quite a bit. And yeah, Tommy's awesome. And then last, and most certainly not least, I am going to talk about my buddy, Rich Strickler. Up in Pennsylvania. Rich is just a wonderful, wonderful guy. Again, somebody like Steve who, when he learns that you don't have something, he wants to send it your way. Whether it's stuff that he's just ordering from Amazon or stuff from his collection that he doesn't need anymore or want anymore, he'll send it. But I think Rich and I have talked before. I think we've done more collaborations together than anybody else on, like, in our groups, because Rich and I, we had several series together. We ranked every song off of every Beatles album, including the Past Masters. We went in order. For the most part, we went in order. There was an exception, but we ranked every song on every Beatles album as different episodes. We've talked. We did a video where, like, a classic album series where we would invite a rotating guest and rank songs on classic albums like Rumors or Dan the Torpedoes or Sticky Fingers or Pet Sounds, more of the Monkees. Like, we were doing this constant series. There was no end to it. And we did a bunch of those. I think we ended up doing 20-ish, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, 22, 23 maybe. Just a bunch. And then we also have the Hall of Fame series that we did with all those other guys that I mentioned. Done a bunch of videos with that. We've done some live streams on Rich's channel just to kill time together. Again, I talk to Rich fairly regularly, probably once a month on the phone. Just a wonderful, wonderful guy. He's currently on an indefinite hiatus on his channel. Just a great guy. I would love to meet Rich one day. If one of these days I'm going to get up to Pennsylvania again, just to see Rich, shake his hand, maybe buy him a meal, and just get to hang out. I love Rich. He's just a great guy. He deserves a lot more subscribers than he has. I know he's on break right now, but I think everybody should go subscribe to Rich's channel, specifically just to let him know that we care about him and that he's a really valid part of this big community that we have of music lovers. Rich is very talented with sports statistics. He knows a world of information about movies. And it's funny because Rich has a music channel, but that's probably his third favorite thing. I mean, I think movies and sports are going to be number one. Well, sports are going to be number one, movies number two, and music's probably number three for him. So the fact that he shares the information that he has with music just shows how brilliant he is with other topics. But a couple other people that I kind of forgot to mention, JT at JT's Music Room. He sent me so many wonderful gifts. He's a great guy out in Nevada. Just wonderful. I've talked to him several times on the phone. We have a few similarities with what we do in terms of work. Just a wonderful, wonderful guy. Just incredibly nice. He's just awesome. It's one of these, again, another one of those guys. One of these days we're going to meet. And we've done a couple of videos together with Rich as well. And then another guy, George Allen, who is out in Kentucky, I believe. George is going through a lot right now, and I think everybody needs to just remember George in your prayers. Just a wonderful guy. I don't know if he's going to see this video, but we really need to pray for George. He's doing okay, but I just think, you know, that's just what I want to say about that. George George sent me a full turntable, and again, that was just completely unexpected. Super nice of him. He didn't ask for anything. I paid for shipping, and he sent me a turntable that was worth a lot more than that shipping. And he's just an incredibly kind man. Loves his jazz, but he also loves his Procol Harum. He has not done a video in many, many months, but he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. So that this might be, you know, a video that gets 20 views. I don't care, but I wanted to thank all those people. I mean, there are tons of other people out there, you know, Hub Tunes and Tony P at Two from the Trunk. You know, just so many different people that I'm forgetting about. I'm sorry, but you know, I want to thank you all for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. It means the world. I am in no, you know, hunt for subscribers right now. I'm just kind of living off this for a little bit. So thank y'all for watching this video. I appreciate everybody that I mentioned. If I didn't mention you, I'm very sorry. But anybody that's commented, liked, subscribed, sent me a link, sent me, you know, whatever, I appreciate it. It goes noticed. And y'all are awesome. All right. Y'all be good. Take care. Talk to you real soon. Bye now.